Something to think about in that final against Leeds, as it does finish Southampton with a 3-1 win and booking their spot in the final at Wembley. Stewart Robson.
How do you get into a game carrying a false leg?
OK, hang on. Before we get to this, let's hear from Alexis. Alexis Nunes did catch up with Adam Armstrong after the game.
What was the message from the gaffer before this? Because we read in the match notes where he said when he got to the Championship playoff final and won it, it was the greatest moment in his career over 15 years. So what was his message before going into this one to kind of manage expectations but also big you guys up and get ready for the moment?
Yeah, 100%. We know how big the game was. I think that was the main thing. We didn't really beat around the bush saying it was not a big game, because it was. A chance to get to Wembley and, you know, with the gaffer being there and done it, put his experience into the squad, and we've just took every game as it comes this year. I think the Championship's been unbelievable this season. I said before, I think Leeds finished on 90, we finished 87, and to not get promoted, it's crazy. Just shows you how good the league's been this year, and what a way, you know, to get to Wembley. It's going to be unbelievable atmosphere, and the lads will be raring to go.
Great stuff from Southampton.
Yeah, Shaq, screw this leg off, will you? You know, here's what's worrying me. Right, we're going to talk about the game in a minute, right? There's two scenarios, A and B. The gentleman that we saw with the leg in the air, how do you go into a game with a screw-on leg in your hand? You can't, can you?
No, you can't.
Right. And at what point during the game do you unscrew your own leg? So I've got to get the answer to this. Is it A or B?
This game is going so well.
Has he somehow
I'm gonna
managed
take my leg off?
Has he get in there with a leg in the pocket? Unlikely.
Right.
Or has he just decided during the game, do you know what? I'll screw it off.
Jackie, you're the investigative journalist on the panel. You need to go and find this out for us.
Yeah, OK, I'll...
Can Alexis go and find out? She's there. I want answers. Never mind the game, I want answers.
Saints fans, give us some answers. We want to know. We want to know the story behind the prosthetic leg here. OK, Stewart Robson on the call for the game today. What to take away from it?
The leg.
Southampton were better than West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich Albion didn't really pose too much of a threat. Southampton, as we know, can play some good football. They like to keep possession. They try and close the opposition down when they lose the ball quickly. So they're a side that dominate possession. There's no doubt about that. They lack penetration. They've only really got one fit striker at the moment. A couple of other strikers are injured. So they can, I would say, at times flatter to deceive, but it's going to be a big game against Leeds in the final. I think both teams are good sides. I think Leeds have more, I would say, dynamism about them in the front areas. Southampton are a passing team. I think it's going to be a great final. And as Shaka just said, Southampton, every time the ball came into the box from set plays, looked vulnerable. They only scored late on West Brom, but there was lots of headers that Bartley won in the air. So I think it's going to be a good game. Leeds might start as favourites, but I just think Southampton will have enough. They will make the pitch big, they'll keep the ball, and they'll run Leeds ragged. I think Southampton are going to win and get into the Premier League.
Okay, imagine the celebrations if that's to happen.
Oh,
meanwhile,
no, there's so many things I could say.
I know, and we missed a perfect joke in the fact there's a first leg and a second leg, but whatever.
Wow.
There is so many puns I'm not going to go down.
All right, we won't do that.
I'm amazed by it. It's like, how do you go out the house?
Kieran, you used to play for West
Jack.
Brom.
I'm going to the game, love. All right, see you later. Keep your leg on.
Make sure you come back with your leg.
But with that result, they didn't have a leg to stand on. Anyway, Kieran.
Listen, I refrain from going down there.
All right, all right.
Easy.
Kieran, are you gutted for your former baggies?
I'm gutted. I am gutted. I was rooting for them. They still hold a special place in my heart, and I know it's not fun when you're playing for promotion. I've been on the wrong end of a promotion push. I've also been on the right end, and it's there's so much rides on it, on a personal level, on a team level. So I know some of those boys, and I know how they'll be feeling. They'll be really sad today. But the better team won. It just wasn't their day. You have to show up in these games, and when you have that much lack of control, you're always at risk. But they have to regroup. The reality is it's a tough league to get out of, but they do have a good manager. I really like the manager, and I believe that they'll do it. You just have to deliver at the right moment.
Now, Stewart obviously fancies trips to the South Coast much more than up to Leeds next season, picking Southampton to win the final there. That's what I'm taking from what he had to say. Who have you got, Craig?
I'm going to just go with Leeds there energy and the drive, and a bit more of an experienced manager in Daniel Farke, who's got a few more miles on the clock than Russell Martin, who's done a very good job. At a club that's had, and Stewart mentioned this in the commentary, they've been through, since Ralph Hasenhüttl, some 2 or 3 dubious decisions, particularly the Nathan Jones one. His rhetoric was confusing to us, so it must have been really confusing to the players, and it was no surprise he didn't last long, and they seem to have got a guy who's a forward-thinking manager here in Russell Martin. But I think that little bit of experience as well might just come into it, and so I'm going to go for Leeds.
Leeds pushed Leicester and Ipswich for a lot of this season and just fell away at the end, and that was a little bit of a concern for me. But then in that second leg against Norwich, I thought they played wonderfully well, regained their mojo. I think Leeds is the better team than Southampton, but only just. They get the job done, but only just.
All right, well, we thank Stewart Robson for being with us on ESPN FC tonight. We'll be hearing a lot more from Stewart very soon. And obviously, we have got to look forward to that playoff final between Leeds United and Southampton to find out who will be returning to the Premier League. May 26th, we've got you covered for it, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN+.